What's up YouTube, this is Graybird, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to become a better singer. We're going to talk about high notes and we're going to talk about how to avoid injury. You see, most singers nowadays, most of them have bad technique. You'll know if you have bad technique if you do a show and you feel like your voice is gone the next day. Or for example, you're singing a high note and you feel a lot of strain. And what most people don't know is that a lot of damage mostly comes from talking. I did a gig the other night and I was in this kind of pub bar vibe. And I actually realized more fatigue on my vocal when I was talking. Now, over the years of, refining my technique, I could sing for hours and still be okay because I sing with really, really good technique. But I realized something yesterday when I was, in that pub, in that bar, talking to my friends, and there's really, really loud music, shouting and trying to get your point across or being heard in that club environment is actually more hurtful to your voice than the actual singing. So how do you kind of fix this? A good technique to do is kind of speak from the diaphragm. If you imagine you're, almost like a Kermit sound. If I were to talk like this, if I were to speak like this in the club, there's way less strain on my vocal cords. As stupid and as, funny as that sounds. If I were speaking like this versus speaking like this, it's actually going to put way more strain when you're speaking in your normal voice because your larynx is going to be raised. When I'm talking like this, straight from the diaphragm, straight from the gut, there's way, way less strain. And this is a little tip that you can use. You can also use this in your singing while you're, singing your high notes. I want you to think thickness is actually way more healthy than, light strain. So if I were to sing a note, I was wrong, really thin, I was wrong, from the diaphragm. I talk about, how to learn this and how to break this technique down in my upcoming course coming up called Course of Grey to Master Your Vocals. If you're a fan of mine, if you like the way that I sing, you like the way that I do covers, I teach people how to go viral online, how to master their voice. So let's talk about injury and how to avoid injury. When I was a younger singer and I would be singing, 24/7, I had really, really bad technique. A good way to tell if you have bad technique is if, first of all, your neck vein is about to pop. That's a good way to know. Another way is, over-pronunciating certain words. For example, if I was to sing the song Lego House by Ed Sheeran, I'll do it all for you in time. You don't want to be over-pronouncing your words. You want things to kind of flow. Think of your voice as like water. You breathe in, you know the feeling you do when you're taking in water from a straw? That's how I want you to breathe air. Let everything kind of just flow. I'll do it all for you in time. For you in time. It's all flowing. It's not for you in time. It's none of that, strain. Think about this as a singer. The less you do, the less you try, the better your voice is going to sound. So let's talk about avoiding injury. When I was younger and I would sing with really, really bad technique, I actually ended up hurting my voice. I was smoking, packs of cigarettes in the studio, trying to have this raspy tone. It's funny because later I realized that rasp is nothing but technique. Some people have naturally raspy voices, but you can do that with technique. It just takes the right approach. And I was singing these songs with really bad technique and smoking, and I actually hurt myself and I got vocal nodules. Now, vocal nodules suck because basically what a vocal nodule is if you go to the gym and you train really, really hard, you'll realize you get calluses on your hands. And calluses is just really rough skin. So if I were to do this long enough on my hand, just this tension, if I were to do it long enough, eventually what would happen is the skin would have to protect itself as a natural response, and rough skin would start to form. So when you're singing, what's happening is your vocal folds or your vocal cords are slamming together like this, especially in very harsh A vowels. Ah, I'll do it all for you in time. Ah, E, O. If you're slamming your voice over and over and over, you can actually hurt yourself. So a good tip that I'm going to give you in this video is if you want to avoid injury, especially in your live shows, especially if you're doing shows 24/7, instead of those harsh A sounds, you can kind of lean into it. Instead of you can go ah. So for example, if I was to sing the line, I'll do it all for you in time. I'll do it all. I'll do it all. I'm sliding into the A vowel, not I'll do it all. That harsh can actually really harm you. I was doing those 24/7, and especially with the smoking and just the amount of time I was in the studio, it could really hurt your voice, and you can get vocal nodules. So this is a great technique to avoid injury, to avoid hurting yourself, is avoid those harsh vowels. A, E, I, O, kind of lean into them. Do you understand? If I was to sing Lighters by Bruno Mars, for example, with my arms out wide, I open my eyes, instead of I open my eyes, it's much healthier to go, I open my eyes, instead of eyes. I'm leaning into it. You see what I mean? This is a very simple yet very effective technique that all singers can use, especially if you're doing live shows, especially if you're in the studio 24/7. When you're recording your vocals, you can hit those vowels because maybe it just sounds better. But if you're doing live performances, this is such a very powerful technique to avoid that injury. Now, let's say you finally do get vocal nodules, and let's say, you hurt yourself, and I did too. Don't panic, okay? All you really need to do is learn to sing with really good technique. So, for example, no harsh A vowels, really good breathing. I talk about so many different techniques in my course if you're a singer and you want to learn how to become better. And I had vocal nodules for about 7-8 months. And I was still singing during those times. I was still doing shows and stuff. But what happened was every time I would hit an A vowel, my voice would crack. So I'd be like, ah. It's like this weird injury, because what happened was that I had a callusis on my vocal cord. And every time the other cord would try to rub it, which is what happens when you sing, the rough skin would cause the air break, which would, result in a voice crack or continuous voice cracks. And it sucks. It's not fun at all. So if you're watching this video, this could really save you a lot of time to not be injured. But if you ever are injured, just know that I'm here. I was injured before, and here I am. My voice is stronger than ever. I still have a cigarette every now and then if I want one, and I'm still performing. I just learned to sing with proper technique. So to the singers, avoid going over your range, avoid those harsh A vowels, avoid trying so hard. And a lot of it really comes down to if you're performing in a gig. You see, when you're nervous, when your body is really nervous, it's much easier to hurt yourself because you forget your technique. All your technique goes out the window. So the fix for this is basically teaching yourself how to sing properly. When I look at videos or voice notes in the past of the way I used to sing, it's completely different to the way I sing now. Because I took the time to, get the right mentors, find the right teachings, and get the voice I wanted. It's not like I could still, go super high, super low, and still be healthily singing. So that's a very important tip. Get the right mentors. If you're interested in taking your voice to the next level, and interested in how I went viral online using my voice. I've amassed almost 1 million on TikTok and 500,000 on Instagram in the course of 7 months. If that's something that interests you and you want me as your coach, my course is launching in the next week. It's called Course of Gray. And if you want me for online coaching one-on-one, I would love to share the value because I love the singers. And I'm an artist. I'm an artist first, singer-songwriter. But in the meantime, as I'm putting out my music, I want to help as many singers as I can. So I really hope these tips and these videos helped you. The main things you should take away are avoid those harsh A vowels. Everything should flow. The less you try, the better. Try to really practice your voice, practice your gift, because the more you do, the less you'll be nervous in a crowd because you own the voice that you have. You have full control over it. And that's the main thing. That's what we want. We want full control over our instrument. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. This is some free wisdom. If you enjoyed, this type of video, if you enjoy these types of, free nuggets, please give a subscribe to the channel, drop a like, drop a comment. And of course, if you want me as your coach, reach out to me on Instagram. It's Graybird, same as here. I love you guys. I hope today was helpful. I'll see you tomorrow for the next video. Peace.